Have you ever been in a group situation and they decide to do an icebreaker? So they're going to go around the room and they ask everyone to introduce themselves and give a fun fact. And the entire time, it's just getting closer and closer to you. You're not even listening to what these people are saying because your brain is completely blank and you cannot think of a single fun fact. And you're just thinking, what am I going to say? What am I going to say? What am I going to say? Then today's episode is for you. Welcome to Talk to Me Baby, the show that believes that knowing yourself and living in accordance with who you are is the biggest asset you can possess in life. I am Emily de Armas, your host, and I too know that anxiety when you have to think on your feet of a fun fact and your mind is just a complete blank. So, in order to combat that, today we are going to do some journaling exercises. So, if you like to journal, this will be right up your alley. And if not, I still encourage you to try it because what you are going to get at the end of this episode is not only a list to refer to anytime you feel a sense of imposter syndrome, anytime you are feeling down on yourself, but you are also going to come away with a better understanding of your own values and how to present yourself in the world because that's the key. I believe every single person walking around out there is a treasure trove of experiences and thoughts and opinions, but we just don't see it because we don't know how to express ourselves and how to share these things. We're living so closely to our own lives, because we are inside of our heads and our minds and our bodies and our soul, that we forget all the cool things that we've done in life and the things that we've experienced. So this will reconnect you to how cool you actually are. So we're going to zoom in. I want you to make a list. This list is going to be 5 categories, okay? The first thing that you are going to write down is a list of all of the things that you have accomplished in life. These could be professional accomplishments, personal accomplishments. Maybe you won an award at work. Maybe you won a pie eating contest. It doesn't matter. The only thing is that you have to feel warm and fuzzy about this accomplishment. It has to mean something to you and something that you are proud of. Even if you didn't win an award and it was a big flop, it doesn't matter. If you are proud of the fact that you participated in a specific project or you came up with a certain idea or you did something, write it down. The next category are things that you were into as a child. I really like to watch Julia Child. I was obsessed with her show. I played in my little Fisher Price kitchen, and I also started cooking from a very young age. It's something that has now become a passion. So what is that for you? Maybe you went to a lake house every summer and you were really into canoeing and into tree houses. You want to revisit hobbies and things that you were interested in as a child, write it down. The next category is places that you have been that have had a lasting impression on you. It doesn't matter if you're not a world traveler. You could have gone on a day trip to a town not far from where you grew up, but it had an impression on you. Write down a trip that you took. It could be a field trip when you were a kid, or it could be a summer vacation. Maybe you went to Europe. Maybe you went across the country. Maybe you did a road trip. Write about trips that really impacted you and places that have really impacted you. The fourth category are your qualities. What are your best qualities? What do friends say about you? What are you known for among the people who really know you? And if you feel like, well, people don't really know me that well, what do people get wrong about you? Because that will reveal what is actually true about you if you're able to pinpoint what is it that I feel like they get wrong about me? What are assumptions that they have about me that aren't true? That will help you tap into who you actually are. So think about your best qualities. Think about things that you're naturally gifted at, things that you're good at, things that you are proud of, and traits that you're proud of in yourself. And the last one is, what are your current hobbies? What are things that you are into that are completely separate from anything to do with your profession or your industry? What fascinates you? For example, I love learning. I love learning above all else, and I love it when I come across a really interesting, juicy fact. For example, today I was scrolling on Instagram and I came across this historian in London, and she was standing in front of this building that had windows that were bricked up. You've probably seen that in different places, right? It's a window and they just cover it in brick. And she was explaining that that was actually due to a tax that they put in place in 1696 that said that if you had more than 10 windows in your house, you were going to be taxed. And the idea was that this would only affect the rich who had bigger homes and had more than 10 windows. But these people were like, you're not taxing me. And they started bricking up windows to reduce the number of windows that they had so that then they wouldn't have to pay the tax. And that's why you sometimes see this. Very fascinating, very interesting. That's the kind of stuff that tickles me. So, what are things that are fascinating to you, things that really interest you, things that make you light up? Maybe you watch a lot of dance videos on Instagram. Maybe you have Pinterest boards filled with, I don't know, tiled floors or hot air balloons, whatever it is. Write down what your interests are, write down what your current hobbies are. Now, beyond giving you an answer to being able to share a fun fact when you need to, you now have a list that should reaffirm to yourself that you are actually pretty cool. Okay. If this exercise did not feel good to you, you need to go back and redo it. And you might not be able to do this all in one sitting. Once you start, things will come to mind and you will remember a few days later, oh, yeah, that's right. I did this. Add it to your list. Don't feel like you need to accomplish this all in one go. Feel free to add to it and work on this list over the course of a week, 2 weeks. But this is going to help you develop a positive self view. And this is now your hype list. I have my own list because I like to walk the walk and talk the talk. I'm not going to tell you to try something unless I have done it myself and I have found it to be useful. My list is called Wins to Celebrate, Traits to Embrace, Gifts to Honor and Appreciate, because I just wanted to make it rhyme. And I did mine kind of in a bulleted format. You can do yours in one massive paragraph, whatever floats your boat. But the point is that you actually print this out and you have a physical copy of this, because if you leave it on your computer, you're going to forget about it. And you keep it close by. So the next time that you are in that group situation, you know you're going to some type of group meeting and they might have an icebreaker, you can refer to the list. Or if you're feeling down about yourself, refer to the list. If you have to give a presentation at work, refer to the list. If you're going to do something that makes you uncomfortable and is getting you out of your comfort zone, refer to the list. So just to give you an example, I have on here things from my childhood, for example. I wrote down here, very creative and imaginative, so smart I skipped a grade, did the IB program with honors, directed plays at church, won Best Actress in the Miami Children's Film Festival. I've run 5Ks. I don't plan on running anymore, but I have done it. And I don't know, that's cool. I have projects that I've worked on at work that I'm particularly proud of and things that I have enjoyed. I have hobbies, the fact that I'm in my garden club. I have certain traits about myself, for example. I have in here I for interior design, creator of the best gallery walls in town. If you're watching this on YouTube, you cannot see the full extent of this gallery wall that I have sitting here, but it is beautiful. And my parents have a lot of art, and I have created a few gallery walls inside of their homes. It's just something that I love and something that I have a natural instinct for, so it's on this list. I also have the best cats in the entire world and am the best cat mom in the entire world. And if you are a cat mom or a dog mom or a parrot mom, I bet you are the best insert blank mom as well. And if that term annoys you, okay, because I've seen people on Instagram referring to themselves as a cat mom or dog mom or something, and people are like, oh my God, I would never call myself that because it's offensive to actual moms. It's nothing like being a real mom, or oh, that's offensive to women who can't have kids. Then you can make the first thing on your list. Would never refer to myself as a cat mom. You're welcome. Now, before we zoom out, I just want to invite you to join my email list. It is called Pedal Spill. It used to be very marketing focused. I used to talk about copywriting a lot, but we're going into an experimental era and a new direction. So I'm going to be doing a little bit more of what you see here on this podcast. I'm going to be including some creative writing, some things that are interesting to me, things that are on my mind. And if any of that sounds interesting to you, I highly recommend that you join the list. So now we are going to zoom out. The next set of questions are going to allow you to understand your own value and your own point of view about life. If you are a business owner, I highly recommend that you do this from the perspective of your business as well. In fact, I actually created these questions at first to help business owners get in touch with their unique points of view, what makes them different in the market, what makes them different in their industry. But I think it also is a great exercise to do from a personal perspective as well. And the idea with these questions is that you are going to just let it free flow, stream of consciousness style. You want to set a timer, 15 to 20 minutes, go through the questions and just let it rip. Don't stop yourself. Just write. It doesn't matter if you are making grammatical errors. It doesn't matter if you're not even making sense. Just continue to type and let the thoughts come to you and let them flow out of you. And then afterwards, you can go back and you can see, are there any patterns here? Are there any themes that I am sensing? And then that will give you the good stuff. So, first question, what pisses you off about your industry? Or what pisses you off about the world? And just let it go. At first, you might come up with things that are more like pet peeves, but you will uncover some interesting things as you work through this. Second question, is there a roadblock, issue, or situation you wish your ideal client understood more clearly? Or is there a roadblock, issue, or situation you wish people understood more clearly? The idea with this question is that we are getting to some kind of knowledge or information that you hold within yourself that other people don't. And so, as a business owner, people might come to you for something, and you know that there's this part in the process where it's like, man, if they just understood this, if they just knew this, things would be easier. Right. And you might also experience this in life similarly. Man, if people just got this, if people just understood this, things would be better. That's what we're uncovering with this question. And the last one is, how would the world be different if you could solve this problem? Or how would the world be different if this problem were solved? Right? If you're not a business owner and you're not actively trying to solve this problem, that's cool. Just how would things be different? How would things be better? What would change? To recap, you are going to make a list following the 5 categories that I gave you of all the things that you've accomplished in life, your hobbies, places you've been, things you liked when you were a kid. This is going to give you tons of information to choose from. When somebody asks you for a fun fact, it's going to remind you of how cool you are and how wonderful you are. And next time that you are doubting yourself, you go back to your hype list and you hype yourself up. And your second exercise is going to help you understand your own point of view on life and reveal to you what it is that you value. And once you've written all these things out, you are going to have a much better understanding of who you are. It's going to reconnect you to yourself. It's going to reconnect you to your own sense of power and pride in who you are as a person. I hope you found this helpful. This has been your episode of Talk to Me, Baby. I'm your host, Emily de Armas. I'm a writer, a baker, a beauty enthusiast, and a hater of blue cheese. And I will talk to you later.